Let's bring the microphone into play. So normally I do a live stream on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to overview the zero DTE trade. And today I couldn't do it because I had a doctor's appointment. So I thought I would still make sure that I made a presence and kept the streak going. By the way, Friday was unbelievable. And I know that I had broadcast early on that I didn't think that we would make it into the money and get the max profit in that video, but we actually did. If you saw Friday's movement, it was, well, if you're a trader, I'm sure you did. It was just insane how much the market moved up in the last minutes of the market. And let me just recap that here. Let's see. We need to go to. There we go. So yeah, you can see here this big green leg here. That was Friday, right at the very end of the day. I mean, it shot up. Let's see. Started at about 39.39 and went up to it did about 30 points, 30 S&P points at the very end of the market in the last few minutes. I mean, that is just so intense. So when I did the video, it was actually a little bit earlier, and I didn't I really didn't expect it to move that higher because we were way down here at near the bottom of the day. It had already been a profitable day, but then that just that just put us right over the edge. It was great. Now today we were expecting, I think, like most people who are watching the market, technicians and analysts and so forth, a lot of volatility. And typically with a lot of volatility also comes a drop in the market. And so last night, that's exactly what we got. Now, this chart is a little bit compressed, but I have an image that I marked up that I think will be a little bit easier to look at. There we go. All right. So there again, here's the day where we moved up. And then last night, I'd say around 6 p.m., 7 p.m., I issued an alert for the zero DTE trade. That was Sunday night for today, saying that, hey, look, I think this market's going down. And but, you know, I hadn't put on the trade yet, and it wasn't until later that I had noticed what had happened was I went out and I walked the dogs. I came back, and I said, oh, my God. So anyways, it had already come down a bit, and I said, look, we I think it's still got some ways to go, but I don't want to take this low price. So we put in a limit order, and we got in actually right where this little yellow arrow is. So it did pop up a bit and met us. And then later that night, I had set a limit order, and I captured about 150% of the risk that we were taking on that trade. I then set another opening trade, a limit order, because I wanted to go to bed, and I still felt like the market was going to go down, but I didn't want to take anything close to there. So I set it for something above where I had originally got in, feeling that, look, if it makes it, that's great. If it hits it, that's fantastic. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So at around 3 a.m., it did. It filled. And so now I was in for the trade for the day. Now, I don't know that everybody else, and now I didn't send out alerts for this because it was basically just a rehash of the same trade. So I'm assuming that most other people probably got into this original trade, which was fairly equivalent. Now, during the day, as the market opened, we had, of course, a lot of volatility. and we had at least two opportunities to profit. This point right about here, and then over here. Unfortunately, I couldn't take this profit here where this yellow arrow is because I had a doctor's appointment, and hence why I'm doing this this stream right now. But in any event, this trade, so I never got out of this trade, and it went to basically max loss. Now, the max loss in our trades is very manageable. It's very small. Let's see. We'll go back to the big head. So the winner I got early in the day was about 150% of risk. The max loss is only 100% of risk because that's the only thing that we're risking. So even though it was what I would consider a losing day, I still made a little bit of money. So that was good. And so far, our record is pretty good on zero DTE. The service has only been around for about a month or so. And we're about, I would say, 80% of the trades are profitable. And of that 80%, I would say 1/5, well, not quite 1/5, maybe a little bit less, we bring it all the way to max profit. I think we're averaging somewhere around 150 to 200% of the risk that we take on as our average profit per trade. Now these are rough numbers because it's a discretionary system, so everybody's going to be a little bit different. The key part here really is the risk to reward that we're taking on, and using concepts such as probability of touch to take trades, before we actually get to expiration. So a good strategy might be that you put on 2, maybe 3 positions. You wait for that probability of touch, which is relatively high. Now, when I say, what does that mean? That means that there's a probability that the price is going to touch a point and the options trade will be worth at least 100% of the risk. And that's kind of like the standard that I would like to set. And so that's pretty high. I mean, it's about an 80% chance that we're going to make 100% on our money. So the idea then is that if you have multiple contracts, maybe you take that with 1 or 2 of them and then let the other one ride, because now it's kind of like a free ride, right? Because you've already made your money, and then that guy is free to potentially go all the way to max profit should the market move in our direction. Now today that wouldn't have been the case. On Friday that was definitely the case, where you thought everything was a goner and you were going to just let the contracts expire, worthless, and it didn't matter because it's a small risk, and it ends up going and making 10 times the max risk, which is very nice. And so far in the service, we've done that twice, and most of the time we're doing that probability of touch trade where we're getting 100, 150, 200% of the risk that we take on. So still fantastic numbers. Now it's still early on in the service. The service itself has been around for about 2 months. The first month I had started out, believe it or not, using the same kind of strategy that most people, maybe a little bit modified, I'm adding my own analytical method, that most people are doing, where they're putting super high probability trades on and taking massive risk. And quite frankly, hit a couple of bad trades, and it was devastating. So I said that, this shall not stand. So I decided to, I don't know, what made me look at this. I think I was just fooling around with strategies. Decided to flip the equation completely around and do something that I call the inversion of risk. I said, why should I have high probability trades and have a very good probability of hitting a max loss that could wipe out, say, 2, 3, 4 weeks of trading? That's crazy. So instead, we're going for a lower probability, and as it stands so far, actually, our our win rate is in the category of high probability, but we're choosing low. And the reason for that is because we're using this probability of touch. We're not always looking for winners. I mean, that's the key. Here, we take small risks, and then we're willing to take small profits. If we make those small profits, then we can use those profits to finance a free ride in case price happens to go all the way to max profit. And so far, that happens about maybe 1/6 to 1/5 of the time. And so now, instead of making small little profits, boom, 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 and then one big loss, we still make small little profits. Actually, I think that they're even better than the other methodology. And then every once in a while, we make a real big one. And then a small number of the times, we never hit the max. We never hit the probability of touch trade, nor does it go to expiration and they're losers. So it's about 80% win rate so far, about 20% losers. Of that 80%, about 1/6 the time we hit a max loss, max profit, which is 10 times the risk that we take on. So to give you some numbers, if we're risking, say, $100 for a trade, that's our max risk. The max profit on something like that would be 10 times. Actually, today it was on Friday, it was about $1,100. So risking a little over 100 to make 1,100. However, during that day, we were able to get out of a couple of trades where we made $150. I hope that makes sense. So high probability to basically double our money on our risk, and a lesser probability of making a big trade. And then if we do lose, the loss is very, very small. So if I was looking at that over the course of a month, there are 3 trading opportunities a week. Let's say 4 weeks, that's 12 trading opportunities. About 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times, up to 4 times, we'll have a losing day, and the rest of the days will be nice winners. So far, this idea of inversion of risk with the 0 DTE has proven, vastly superior to the other methodologies that I've seen. And it's working out well. And so anyways, that's the report for today. I'll just review that again just so you can see what today's results were. So again, initial trade, we got in, I got out, made about 150% on risk, which is about $150. I set a limit order because it was late at night and went to bed and put on the same trade again, but I didn't know if it was going to hit. It did hit, and then came in the next day, and we were in that trade. It was underwater a little bit, and then it came down, but at this point, I wasn't around to take that profit. I was literally at a doctor's appointment, and I came back and it started to move up, and it never came to a point where I could get out of the trade easily. Actually, I could have gotten out right around here for no loss, but I felt even at that point there was still a chance that it could have gone down. But today just wasn't that day. Now, the reason why I was thinking that we would move down sharply, and there's good reason. I'll show you why. Hold on a second here. Let's there we are. I'm going to go to a daily chart, and we'll do a daily chart of the ES. Let's get rid of this. All right, so if you look at this chart really closely, you'll see that there are these little yellow arrows here. And these are the points where I saw a move that was very similar to Friday's move, where we moved up to either a new high or a relatively new high. and then right after that day, a very large drop. It happened here. 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 You get the picture. So the idea was then that that's what would happen today. And in fact, it did drop, but then it turned into a hammer and it moved all the way back up. So if I were to expand that, you'll see what happened today. So here's the big move up. I was expecting something like this one right here, where we'd move up and then move down. But we moved up, and we did move down, but then recovered it all. So that was the play today, was to try to get a max profit should this go down, but it didn't. It broke the pattern for the first time out of, well, I mean, how many tries was that that I was showing there in the past, since, almost the past year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times where it had exhibited that there were those type of same opportunity that we had today, and today was the first time that it didn't follow that pattern. So that's what today's trade was really based on, and it just didn't work out. Sometimes that happens, I guess. All right. But it wasn't all bad, because the initial win I had was a little bit more than the loss that I took at the end of the day. So even though it was a losing day, I made money. I guess that's kind of weird to say. But so far this service has been proven to be very exciting. The new strategy seems to be a winner. Now, it's hard to hang a career on a month's worth of trades, but I've been back testing this. I've been going back and using some actual simulated markets from before that were out of sample, things that I'd never seen before, and apply the same methodology, and it seems to be spot on. Now, will we always have an 80% win rate? I don't know. I think that the key here is the trading strategy that we use and the trade management strategy I use, and using this concept of probability of touch to at least recover or to get 100% of the risk. And that seems to be pretty good, because that is a solid 80% probability, at least with the premiums that I've detected over the past year. So I think that this is a darn good strategy, to tell you the truth. If you'd like to learn more about how to trade this and join our group with dozens and dozens, actually hundreds of other traders, please come by. The link is below. But that's pretty much all I have to say for today. And we'll be back on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, it'll actually be a live session during the day while we're still in the trade, hopefully. All right? All right. What is one comment? Let's see here. Ernie, this is the second day you've talked about on stream. Let's hear about the winners. Oh, the second dud you've talked about on stream. You have to have losers, and it really wasn't even a losing day. What kind of options do you buy, sell to execute your strategy, assuming you sold puts that expired worth? Yeah, I didn't sell puts today. I actually went long puts, along a put spread. And I think I've been doing that regularly as I put up these live streams. I tell you what the trade is. So because the service is relatively new, I don't have a track record that I can go and say, hey, here's 6 months worth of trading. I am putting these out there every day so that you can see, and you can tell for yourself whether or not we're doing a good job or not. So far, the numbers look good. In another month, maybe they'll look even better. My back testing says that we're right on track to what we should be doing. So that's good. That's real good. So thanks for your comment. And that's it. We'll see you Wednesday with another Zero DTE live stream. Although this is live, the trade is already over. So the trade's dead. Take care.